All right, picture this. You're walking through Boston South Station, the city's busiest transit hub, where thousands of commuters rush to catch trains, buses, and subway connections every single day. Now imagine looking up, way up, at a brand new 51-story glass tower soaring above the historic station. Sounds futuristic, right? Well, that future is happening. It's called the South Station Tower, and it's one of the most ambitious and controversial projects Boston has ever seen. A $1.5 billion development that promises to reshape the city's skyline, modernize public transportation, and create a high-end, mixed-use space where people can live, work, and play. But let's not sugarcoat it. This thing has been a magnet for controversy. Construction delays, cost disputes, and the ever-present debate about whether Boston really needs more luxury condos instead of affordable housing. Some see it as a bold step forward, a way to attract investment and cement Boston as a world-class city. Others, they think it's just another monument to gentrification, a shiny new playground for the ultra-rich, while regular Bostonians struggle to find a place to live. So, is South Station Tower the future of Boston, or just another overpriced skyscraper that misses the mark? Let's dig in. Before we continue, I'd like to ask for a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of our viewers watch without subscribing, and while it's free for you, it makes a world of difference to us. Have you hit that subscribe button? Awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the video. Boston has never been known for towering skyscrapers. Unlike New York or Chicago, the city has always had height restrictions due to its proximity to Logan International Airport. That's why, for decades, its skyline remained relatively modest, defined more by historic charm than flashy high-rises. But times are changing. Boston is evolving, fast. Once a colonial stronghold, it's now a global powerhouse in biotech, finance, and education, home to some of the most prestigious universities and cutting-edge industries in the world. And with that growth comes the desire to build bigger, bolder, and higher. Enter South Station Tower, a project that's been talked about for decades. First proposed in the early 2000s, it faced massive opposition from transit advocates, preservationists, and even celebrities. Yes, celebrities. There were concerns that a skyscraper above South Station would interfere with Amtrak's high-speed rail plans, complicate construction, and, let's be honest, just be an overall logistical nightmare. And, well, they weren't entirely wrong. This tower didn't just pop up overnight. In fact, it almost didn't happen at all. After years of back-and-forth negotiations, legal battles, and funding issues, the project finally got the green light, but not without serious compromises. The original vision for a 2.2 million square foot megastructure had to be scaled down. Tufts University, an early partner in the project, backed out in 2009, forcing the developers, global real estate giant Hines, to rework the entire design. By 2016, the new plan was set, a 51-story, 678-foot-tall skyscraper with a mix of office space, luxury condos, and a revamped transit hub below. Construction was supposed to start in 2017, but surprise, surprise, it got delayed again. It wasn't until February 2020, right before the world went sideways with the pandemic, that the first shovels hit the ground. And now, after years of hurdles, Boston's most talked about skyscraper is finally becoming a reality. So, what exactly are we getting for $1.5 billion? The South Station Tower will be a mixed-use skyscraper with 700,000 square feet of office space, 166 luxury condos under the Ritz-Carlton brand, a 6-story parking podium, yes, parking, right on top of a transit hub, which we'll talk about in a second. Retail space at the base, a 4,000 square foot sky park with panoramic views of the city. And if you've got a cool $1.3 million lying around, you can snag one of those condos. Want a penthouse? That'll be up to $14 million. Now, I don't know about you, but when a city is facing a housing crisis, the idea of building a skyscraper full of ultra-expensive condos raises some eyebrows. Let's address the elephant in the room, Boston's housing shortage. Over the past few years, apartment construction has been steadily declining, and finding affordable housing has become a nightmare for many residents. Rent prices have skyrocketed, and even middle-class buyers are getting squeezed out. So, is South Station Tower helping this situation? Not exactly. This project is aimed at high-end buyers, not the average Bostonian. And critics argue that developments like this widen the gap between the wealthy and everyone else, pushing regular residents out of the city center. Could this have been an opportunity to build more affordable housing? Sure. But let's be real. This was never about solving Boston's housing crisis. This is about money. One of the most head-scratching aspects of this project is the inclusion of 500 parking spaces, right above one of the busiest transit hubs in the Northeast. Boston is trying to reduce car dependency and promote public transportation. Yet, here we are, adding a massive parking structure in a place that should encourage people to ditch their cars. The argument for the parking: convenience for high-end residents and office workers, but critics say it's a step backward for sustainable urban planning. If you thought this project was smooth sailing, think again. Construction delays have plagued South Station Tower from the start, with disputes over costs, logistics, and funding. Since it's being built directly above New England's busiest rail hub, engineers had to figure out how to construct a massive skyscraper without disrupting train service. That meant expensive design modifications, like elevated elevator banks and mezzanine-level access. At times, it felt like the whole thing might collapse under its own weight. Figuratively, of course. But after decades of debate, it's finally happening. One piece of good news: this project is mostly privately funded. Developer Hines secured air rights for $35 million in 2018 and landed an $870 million construction loan in 2020. Unlike some mega projects that rely heavily on taxpayer dollars, South Station Tower is largely being financed by private investors. Supporters argue this is a win for the city, a massive infrastructure upgrade without draining public funds. But critics still question whether Boston is prioritizing the right kind of development. So, is it worth it? Love it or hate it, South Station Tower is happening. Some see it as a landmark project that will modernize Boston's skyline, attract investment, and create a more connected transit hub. Others think it's just another symbol of gentrification, an exclusive space for the rich, while everyday Bostonians struggle with rising costs. What do you think? Is this project a step forward, or is it just another luxury playground in a city that needs affordable housing more than ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories on the biggest projects shaping America's cities. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.